Hello and welcome back to another edition of Talking Quack and Smack with TC Duck Club. I'm Skylar Ray.
I'm Ryan Law.
I'm Keith Talbert.
That went a little smoother than I thought. All right, so tonight we're out here on the back deck of TC Duck Club headquarters. We got the main man rained out and out of the field. He didn't take a bath or change his clothes, but neither did any of the rest of us. So here we are. We've got some exciting news, and I'm telling you, since you're the boss, you kick it off.
Where do you think we start at, Keith? I mean, what do you
Golly
think about first?
bum, man, we've got a new fundraiser for a great cause coming up. Man, we've got this weekend coming up. I mean, you just you can start wherever you want to.
Let's talk about the BJCC. I mean, we're going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to have a booth set up. 5114 is our booth number. We'd love for everybody to come out, check us out. We've got a lot of good things going. Everybody's asking about apparel. We're going to have hats, t-shirts, and all kind of stuff there for sale if anybody's interested.
I hadn't figured it out yet, but since we're talking about the BJCC right off the rip, I haven't been able to figure it out yet, but I'm pretty sure Ryan will stick the old screws to me at some point in time this weekend. No. So let's talk about my favorite thing to bring up to Ryan anytime he mentions partnership or going into business with each other or anything like that. I know
what this is.
Yeah, I think you do, but our listening audience probably does not. But since we've got everybody here and we're on the air and we're live,
it all started probably 2000, 1999. Me and Skylar was in middle school, went with his stepdad to the BJCC to a gun and knife show. Well, me and Skylar, we're going to be, something special. We pawn all of our money, pool it together. We've got maybe $300. Well, we find, like everything. So we go over there and find somebody to sell us a black powder gun. Oh yeah, we're like 13, 14-year-old. Got us a brand new, nice black powder gun.
We bought us.
Yeah,
we bought us.
Both of us.
This is where you hunt with it some and he hunts with it some.
Yeah, we've got
50-50 because we paired up.
Joint legal custody of the said child in our black powder rifle, and as he mentioned, we pulled our money together.
Okay.
And anyway,
seems fair so far. I mean, sounds like a great idea.
We get home and I shoot it a few times. Skylar shoots it a few times. That's some red plates off of your mom and Dewey's balcony. I remember that well over at the lake.
Yeah, we're shooting these plastic plates, and we took a Sharpie and colored like a smiley face, and we're shooting that pie plate or plastic Dixie plate or whatever.
Well, there's somebody in our audience right now is wondering: is this the old pumpkin ball looking black powder, or was this the sabot, the rifling?
No, like you put that old gunk on the bullet and ram it down in there and pour the powder in. Had the cap. I mean, it's like flintlock, like old school. And anyway, that's the only gun there, and we looked at every one of them, touched all of them. But it's the only gun that we could afford. And we'd bought a pocket knife the year before, and
we bought a pocket knife, or you both bought a pocket?
We both bought pocket knives.
We both had one.
We both had one, and they were like the ones that you press a button and the knife comes straight out the end, like the switchblade, Well, we ended up nearly cutting our hands off with them, so we decided we'd buy something a little more dangerous next year, and we bought a black powder rifle. So we get the black powder rifle home and we shoot it and blah, blah, blah. And then Ryan was going to be, I don't know, adventurous, I guess, and he was going to go hunting with it the next weekend, so he takes it home. I've never seen it since.
I've still got it in the gun safe.
Which it worked out good. I've been able to gripe and hold something over his head for 25 or 30 years. Right. And, if I would have had it when we got broke into by the meth bandits, then they would have stolen
the rifle, see?
Yeah. So I've, to my knowledge, I've still got a black powder rifle.
Well, that's all. It isn't going to be long to black powder rifle season. Maybe he'll let you borrow it and shoot some of those deer that's eating his soybeans up right now.
I've always kind of been afraid, and that's why I didn't put up a lot of protests of him, taking the black powder rifle, because if it can go wrong with me and my luck, it will go wrong. So to be honest with you, I'm kind of afraid of a black powder rifle, because if a little bit of gunpowder is good, a lot's got to be
That's what I
better.
was sitting here thinking. You're more of a go big, go home kind of
Yeah,
guy.
absolutely.
And you know, if there's room left in the barrel, as long as we got about this much to put that bullet in there, we're good. You know.
Yeah.
And so I can see you doing that.
Yeah, but anyway, it worked out really good, and I've been able to bash my best friend for 25 years over a $300 pulled together rifle that neither one are smart enough to operate or brave enough to operate. So anyway, that's kind of our BJCC story that we kind of talk about, but we've been to the World Deer Expo several times, and we've just never been on this side of things. So I'm really excited about being on this side of the aisle and meeting everybody.
That's right. And you know, I'm like you guys just said, you've been there before. My last experience when I went to the BJCC, this is going to bring up a little painful memory. You had a black lab at that time, and me and your dad sat in one of the Ducks Unlimited dog trainer seminars and listened to them talk. And I got to hear your dad talking about the black lab that you had that was famous in this parts because she was absolutely a duck dog to be reckoned with, because she was as good as there ever will be. But anyway, that was there's a lot to do at the BJCC this weekend. 3-day event. It'll be Friday afternoon and then all day Saturday and then Sunday morning. And like you guys said, man, we're pumped to be able to be there to shake hands and to hear stories from you guys, to hear requests from you guys, to actually get a chance to maybe meet some of our listeners on the from the other side of the state, or parts of the other parts of the from other states. So yeah, just come by, let us know that you're watching the channel. And hey guys, we're getting close. We're at 438. We've got a push trying to get to 500 members, 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So make sure you go by, like, share, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check out our new website, tcduckclub.com, and it'll be above us here. I'll put a link up here above us where you can see that. But go check out, because we got a lot of good stuff on there. We got some new stuff that was posted this week. We're going to try to update our website pretty regular. I've got some help on my website design. So Ryan's boss.
Oh yeah, the wife. Speaking of new, let's talk about the first time me and you ever floated Tapper Creek, and we'll lead on up to what else we've got going on.
That's right.
I don't know if we need to talk about that, because I still have nightmares. I may have to sleep with a nightlight on tonight. And I tell all my football players, I said, look, if you'll set your purse down and flip that nightlight off, things will get a lot easier for you. You know, nobody wants to be made fun of or have their manhood questioned.
Right.
And we've got a bunch of good kids, and I'm kind of tough on them. But all jokes aside, I don't like anything that doesn't have thumbs or shoulders.
Agreed.
And now that he's wanting to talk about floating the creek, so me and Ryan had again kind of pooled our money together, and this is before Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. This is back when you flip through the newspaper and you'd find stuff
classified.
Well, we bought a used flat bottom boat, and it lasted just about as long as you probably think it would. And the old flat bottom boat didn't make it long going down the rocky bottom of Terrapin Creek. And then his parents bought him an Old Town canoe,
Quality,
brand new from Mike at Terrapin Outdoor Center. I remember it till this day.
Man, I'm telling you. And he calls me, and this is long before driver's license, like long, way before any of us ever thought about going on dates or any of that kind of stuff. Like, we lived outside, and Ryan's got miles and miles of creekfront property there, and we grew up on that creek, and we'd go in there and steal his daddy's tubes that go in 18-wheeler tires, and we'd fill them up, and we'd go float. But it never failed. Anytime you was going to fall out, that old tube would stab you in the ribs or something like that. So when we got an Old Town canoe, it was like somebody giving us the keys to Fort Knox.
Yeah,
like we thought we had arrived.
Lamborghini, basically.
Oh yeah. So we could not wait to put it in the creek, as you can imagine.
Sure.
So was a hot summer day, and this is, you know, way back before cell phones or anything like that. It had been raining all week.
Creek's gonna flow good.
Well, the creek was up just a little bit.
It was up just enough to make it kind of dangerous. And as a 38-year-old me, like you said, I'm go big or go home. Well, a 10, 11, 12-year-old me, that's right up our alley.
Yeah.
Class 5 Rapids, Old Town Canoe, we're in. No life jacket needed. Just,
When you ask what class you shot as a 4 or 5, you put them two together, you done a 45.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way y'all looked at it.
So anyway, it had been raining all week. It had, just come a flood. So anyway, the creek's up, like he said, and we finally talked his mother into taking us and just upstream and dropping us out there in the curves of Highway 9. So me and Ryan talk her into it. We get in there, and the first 100 yards, I guess, was pretty swift.
Yeah, you're moving pretty fast.
Taking the paddle, using it as a rudder,
there,
pretty much.
Robert's Curve, it's pretty swift there anyhow, and then you add, 2 extra feet of water. It gets to move.
It was rolling. So anyway, we wasn't gonna, we'd begged to do it. Well, here we are. So anyway, we get in and that thing, it hugs, like we're in a canoe race. I'm in the front paddling, Ryan's in the back, he's staring it, and we're just going down through there. Finally, it kind of gets settled out, and we come on down. We've got us a cooler, like a little cheap zipper cooler, with our lunch in it. We're gonna spend all day on the creek. And again, no cell phone, no nothing. And we're going down through there, and like there's this big wad of sticks, like I don't know, probably 50 or 75 yards
washed
up
off
there.
the bank.
Yeah, just kind of washed off, like right out in the middle, kind of. And the creek kind of bottleneck.
Yeah.
Getting ready to go into the next rapids or whatever, or shoals or whatever.
Right.
And we get on up through there, and there is a nest of cottonmouths just wadded up. And there is no way around it. The water's going around, and we couldn't distinguish snakes from sticks because we're going so fast, and we're on them before we can move. So now there's snakes on both sides of the kayak, and now me and Ryan are standing up, beating these snakes. I'm beating them off this side, he's beating them off that side, and these snakes are everywhere. And I'm talking about probably, I don't know, realistically looking back on this, probably 8 or 10 snakes, but it could have been.
It was 8 or 10 too many though.
Yeah, but here, when like you said, when you're 14-year-old, 8 or 10 snakes in a panic situation is more like 20
or 30.
Look,
or 30.
I just want to go on there live on the record and tell everybody that Old Town Canoe, one, builds a really stable kayak, because we had 2 big kids standing up,
Quarterback, a lineman and a quarterback.
and we're beating them paddles off the side of that brand new
Which,
kayak.
by the way, was very dumb because it'll tip, when you start standing up.
Sure it
flipping
will.
around.
But if it hadn't been stable, we're snake bit or drowned or both. And no cell phone, no nothing. But and they built a durable kayak because we done our dead level best to beat those snakes to death right off the side of that kayak with those paddles. This thing ain't 15 minutes old on the first float, and we're
This is the maiden voyage.
The
We
maiden
drive
voyage.
up the road like 200 yards and we put it in.
We have beat that thing. It would be like if Ryan would have walked outside and somebody had been doing what we done to that kayak or that canoe. Oh, there'd have been a fist fight in the driveway.
Right.
No doubt about it.
Right.
And we were both just waylaying the side of that thing. Not a scratch on it to this day, to my knowledge.
Right. Well,
And we pulled it in the duck water. That's how we killed the cinnamon teal. We put that Old Town Canoe in my duck water and literally pulled it all the way across the map, like all the way across to Southern California, and went and hunted cinnamon teal and killed the cinnamon teal out of an Old Town kayak.
That is awesome. Well, and here's the thing, there's a lot of people go, TC Duck Club, TC Club. What does the TC stand for? What stands for Terrapin Creek? Like you said, y'all own a lot of property that borders the creek, that joins the creek, that runs along y'all's property.
That's where we grew up at.
That's how TC Duck Club got its start. But for those of you that don't realize, Terrapin Creek is home to 2 or 3 different.
It's home to 3 outfitters. You have No Worries, Redneck Yacht Club, and Terrapin Outdoor Center, which Mike, he's been in it the longest. His dad actually started his business when I was little. I mean, I was probably 7, 8 years old. It's been 30 years ago. Mike's dad started floating. And from there, we got Redneck Yacht Club come in. Hank, great guy. And then we got No Worries come in, another great guy.
Right.
But they stay really busy, and they do a lot. They give back a lot, too, for the people.
Well, and not just give back, but, in a small town, small town Alabama is no different than small town upstate New York or Ohio. And we've talked on other episodes, for young kids, there's just nothing to do in rural America except get in trouble. And luckily, we didn't get snake bit or drowned, and
But we learned something though. We learned when it rained 2 feet, don't float the creek.
Don't float the creek.
And if you do it in an old town kayak, because it's a stable, piece of equipment here that's going to get you in peril, through the adversity. But this, Ryan, how many thousands of people hits that creek in a summer?
There's no telling. I was talking to Hank the other day. We're fixing to tell you about what else we got going, and he starts, as soon as it gets warm enough to put a boat in, and he floats all the way up to the middle of September. And Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, even when school gets back in, there'll be hundreds of people. You come around Fred Roberts Curve, and as far as you can see both ways, there's kayaks, canoes, and people drive.
And there's going to be, we've got pictures here on the podcast here that I'm going to have, for you to see what we've got going on, the crowd that we're talking about. And this crowd happens, like Ryan just said, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday through the summer, from Memorial Day to Labor Day at least.
Yeah, I've watched them put in. They'll start sometimes into April, which I'm not a big enough man to put in that Terrapin Creek in April because the water is cold.
It's moving. It's moving and it's cold.
Yeah. The temperature on that babe's.
But
chilly.
The thing about it is there's value in that natural resource as far as entertainment goes, because now with the economy the way it is, it's hard for a family of 5, a mother, a dad, and 2 kids, or family of 4, family of 3, or young kids going on a date. That is something that you can do all day long,
and it'll cost you $35 a person. You can bring your lunch,
absolutely,
you can bring your drinks. I mean, and you spend all day on the creek.
And it can take you all day to float, depending on how far or how short. You can do a long trip or a short trip, either one. You can do
a short trip, then they have a long trip. I mean, they've got anything you want.
Right.
And if you bring your own boat, they offer shuttle services.
That's right.
But it's a lot of people get to enjoy it. So.
And with that being said, that's kind of what we're wanting to focus, this podcast on. Is granted our BJCC Deer Expo coming up, but we have got a real big fundraising opportunity, and TC Duck Club has been involved with Kids Outdoors for several years. I have been a guide on the youth hunt during the youth deer season every year for the last 4 years, and then both you two got to experience the banquet last year for the first time, and see all those kids get up there with their trophy hunts that they got to go kill throughout the year.
Some of them made me jealous. Some of them were some big ones.
Gosh. I mean, those things are studs. And Kids Outdoors, Mr. Rick Clark and Carol Clark started this, and those two, they're retired. Kids Outdoors is a nonprofit organization, and there is no admin fees. Everything that is donated to Kids Outdoors goes to pay these outfitters for a hunt, pays for the mounts that they give the kids on that night they have the banquet. It goes to benefit the kid 100% of the money, and that's when I first got started. McConnell Murphy, which I hope we can have him on a podcast one day, because that would be great. But McConnell's the one that got me started with kids, and then you know, I knew about some other organizations, and there's always, well, you know, 85% goes to this, and then the other 15% goes for admin fees and overhead and all this, that, and another. That's not the case. Rick and Carol is 100%. They put that money back to the kids. Every bit of it goes to them, and they've got a big rodeo coming up July the 26th in Birmingham. If you're a rodeo fan, it's a straight up legit rodeo, bull riding, the whole 9 yards. Y'all go look them up on Kids Outdoors on Facebook, National Kids Outdoors on Facebook, and go support them if you're in the area on that weekend.
And even if you're not a rodeo fan, and I'm not trying to interrupt or step on your toes, but I'd just like to add to what you're saying about Kids Outdoors and brag on Miss Carol and that organization and everybody involved. That it was our first year to attend the banquet, and I was blown away at the quality animals that the kids had harvested and were presented with at the banquet. And like he said, we were sitting over there jealous. And like I said, I mean, those kids
When you got a 180-inch buck come walking by.
Yeah, I mean, and the food's phenomenal, and the amount of good Christian people all pulling that rope the same direction. I've never been around an organization any more well ran or any more directed to helping ensure that kids have the ability to be successful in the outdoors, and they're comfortable, and they're taken care of, and everything's centered around such a great cause. And like I said, that is phenomenal in today's time when everybody seems to be in a hurry. I can't tell you enough. If you hadn't already, whether you're a TC Duck Club fan or whether you're outdoorsman at all, what these people with Kids Outdoors are doing for the youth with disabilities or handicaps, if you will, it's truly unmatched. And I am so proud that we can all help out in some way, because it's going to be a fun day.
Oh, it is.
It's going to go. The money's going to a great cause, and it's something that we can really get behind and push. And I don't know who enjoys it more, the kids or the people doing it for the kids, because I was pumped about the idea of being able to do this, and we're tying in with duck hunting, ducks with Kids Outdoors, if you will.
And we're tying in Terrapin Creek.
And we're getting Terrapin Creek. We got it all.
So it kind of goes back to our roots, being right there on Terrapin Creek. So I guess without further ado, we can kind of tell you what we're doing. Again, Ryan grew up literally with Terrapin Creek in his back door. We grew up on the creek, hunting, fishing, four-wheeler riding, floating the creek. And when Keith introduced us to Kids Outdoors, it didn't take long for the wheels of our brains to kind of start rolling down the old farm road towards Terrapin Creek. So we're going to have a TC Duck Club rubber duck race on Terrapin Creek. So Ryan, why don't you tell them a little bit about?
Well, like I say, he said it. We're gonna have it at we're gonna start at Redneck Yacht Clubs, where we're gonna dump the ducks out. They're gonna float down to to Terrapin Creek Outdoors, and that's where we're gonna have lunch. 12 o'clock. We're gonna have the race start at 1:30. Ducks are $10 a piece. You can buy as many ducks as you want, and if you'd like to be a sponsor, we've got open, sponsorships open. And we'd like to have everybody attend, and it's going to be a great day. And like I say, the proceeds are going back to Kids Outdoors to help the kids. So we're looking forward to it. And
the amount of support from our local radio stations. We've contacted WQSB, and we've contacted WEIS here in Center, Alabama. And Mary Jerry is a legend in Cherokee County.
Of course he is. And he's already started promoting this.
He has.
So if you go to weissradio.com, they've already got the information on there. You can use the QR code. If you go to our website, tcduckclub.com, scroll down, there's an Adopt a Duck button there. You can click on it and go ahead and purchase your ducks.
And you don't have to. Another thing, you don't have to be present to win.
Don't have to be present to win. And this is like, you know, the opportunity for us to be able to partner with Kids Outdoors, but bringing it home here in Terrapin Creek, like you said, where we all grew up. And this is just it's an honor and a privilege to be able to help those guys, to help Miss Carol, Mr. Rick. I mentioned Mr. Rick, but Miss Carol does all the work. I mean, Rick, I'm sorry, buddy. I love you, but we both know where the credit goes. Miss Carol, she's the one that pulls all the strings on everything.
Well, and I mentioned, you know, the support from the local radio stations and all the sponsors so far, and I would be kind of dropping the ball, if you will, if I didn't mention our buddy JJ from Texas.
Yeah.
And that may not ring a bell, but for all you hunters out there, JJ is the rubber duck guy. And I've been in contact with JJ, and I asked him would he be willing to help us with this, since he's the rubber duck guy and we're having a rubber duck race at TC Duck Club. And he said, as long as it doesn't involve me buying another bus. And I said, no, you don't have to do that. We just need your help, you know, promoting the deal. So again, the reason I intervened is because you don't have to be present to win. JJ's from other side of Dallas, and from Dallas to Center's a long way. Hopefully he will be able to make it, but I know we can count on his support. Him being the rubber duck guy, this falls right on his realm, and hopefully we can you know, do enough good to at least make a mark with Kids Outdoors.
Well, I'm going to have some pictures on this podcast of from the banquet and stuff of Kids Outdoors, but we've got two of the Kids Outdoors kids in our area. One's from Piedmont and one's from Sandrock here, but when you're at these banquets or any of these kids events, this rodeo, all of these events, the dove shoot, the turkey hunts, all the fishing stuff, that the joy and excitement that comes across these kids' face, they forget whatever it is they're battling or dealing with, and they feel like a normal person that's getting to go and experience the outdoors and enjoy the outdoors. And just to see that excitement on their face during this time, it's worth whatever you give. If you can't sponsor but for one duck, that's fine. We appreciate any and all. But you know, if the Lord's blessed you and you want to sponsor 10 ducks, that's great. If you want to sponsor 100 ducks, even better. But I'm just saying, if you could only participate and volunteer, because I promise you, Miss Carol don't mind. She takes any and all volunteers for all these events, because it takes a lot to do what they do. I think we hunted 160 something kids last year during the youth deer hunt. And you know, it takes a lot of moving pieces to make that work, you know, with the property and the whole 9 yards. So.
Well, and I challenge you to go to www.tcduckclub.com and sign up to sponsor a duck, and then do some digging around it and Google and do your due diligence with Kids Outdoors. And I think the Lord will pull at your heartstrings a little bit, and hopefully we can get some volunteers that will help, you know, put this event on, because we want it to be spectacular. We don't want it to just be a Cherokee County deal or just a TC Duck Club deal. We want everybody. We want everybody to be a part of it.
So Ryan, will people be able to float the creek while the duck race is going on?
Well, you know, we're probably going to have to get them to stop, but Redneck Yacht Club, they're actually going to be shut down on the 20th.
Okay.
Which Hank...
September the 20th. Well, I don't think we've announced the date.
Well, so September the 20th is the day of the race. Redneck Yacht Club is going to be shut down on the 20th, but Hank, me and him's pretty good buddies, and he's given me a key to his place, so we'll be able to get in there to dump the ducks and all. And then Mike, he's going to be open because Mike lives right there at the creek. So
and Mike's our old town.
Yeah, he's our old town guy. Yep.
In the area, so you know that's good. So yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be. I'm excited. I mean, I really am excited. That, you know, like you said, lunch is going to be provided at 12. We'll have the race starting at 1. You know, if anybody wants to come and see if your duck crosses the finish line first, we'll have a Facebook Live photo finish on when the first duck.
We may have to set it up like they do at Daytona to see who crosses first with the video cameras.
We'll slow mo. That's fine. That's where I come in. Everybody's got a part, so I'll play my part. We'll have a photo line. We'll have a finish line photo finish coming across there in slow mo and everything.
Well, I just hope the net catches all of them. I hope we have so many ducks the net don't hold them. So.
That'd be perfect.
Well, like I said, I do want to issue a challenge to do your due diligence with Kids Outdoors. Do your research. See how many kids' lives that they've enhanced or changed, made better with their efforts to do the things that they do. And then again, I'd like to issue a personal challenge to everyone listening to go to www.tcduckclub.com, adopt a duck, get with us. Our telephone numbers are on there.
That's right.
I'm Skylar Ray, he's Ryan Law, that's Keith Talbert. Our telephone numbers are there. If we put our TC Duck Club stamp of approval on something, you can take it to the bank, because at the end of the day, all we have is our name. And I'm telling you, I feel confident supporting Kids Outdoors and their agenda as much as I do anything that we could possibly get behind.
And these kids, that's another thing that needs to be said too. These kids are not just Alabama kids. I just mentioned that we had 2 here locally. Last year, not the 24 deer season, but the 23 deer season, young lady from Michigan killed a monster. I'm talking and bless her heart, the grin on that little girl's face. I'll have a picture of her and her deer on here, because you can't sandpaper the smile. Like I said, she's from Michigan. So these kids that participate in this Alabama youth deer hunt are not just from Alabama. They're from North Carolina, Michigan, Tennessee. They're from everywhere.
And one thing that I would like to mention for all of our corporate sponsors, or all of our people who may be interested in knowing, all the donations to Kids Outdoors
are tax deductible.
100%. So again, if you need a tax break, or if you just, if the good Lord's pulling at your heartstrings, get behind this and let's make it awesome for these kids, and hopefully.
What's do we have a goal that we're trying to, the number of ducks that we're trying to?
Well, I'm scared to say. I mean, we have a goal in mind, but I don't know that we'll reach it. So
I personally don't see, since you don't have to be present to win, it's 100% tax deductible. I don't see why we can't sell 10,000 ducks.
God, that's above the goal that I had.
Yeah, that's a little higher than I was thinking.
I'm go big or go home guy. But all jokes aside, I feel very certain that everybody out there will go to www.tcduckclub.com, adopt a duck, adopt multiple ducks. If you don't want to adopt a duck, if you'd just like to make a cash donation to TC Duck Club, we'll make sure the money gets to Kids Outdoors. You can make the check payable to Kids Outdoors. That's 100% fine. We can set you up how you do that. Or if you just want to donate your time, you can come down and help us out the day of. We'd love to have everybody come out. Again, there'll be hot dogs, food, and drinks right here in Terrapin Creek. And if you've never saw Terrapin Creek,
man, what a beautiful time.
It's unbelievable. So
if you need to email us, you can email info@tcduckclub.com. If you don't want to call us, that way, if you don't want to give us your cell phone number, and that way we call you.
and if you've never been in Terrapin Creek, we're going to need some people to help pick the ducks up and dump them. So we'd love to have you in the creek with us.
That's right.
Anyway, it's a great idea. It's a great fundraiser, great organization, and they're unbelievable people. We're pumped to be a part of it. And again, I'm sure you'll see more about this not only at www.tcduckclub.com or Kids Outdoors or on the radio stations. We'll be sharing this information between now and September the 20th on all social media platforms. I'm sure you'll see it on the TC Duck Club podcast between now and then. So again, please get signed up, adopt you a duck, and until next time, Y'all stay with us. We're going to keep killing them.